Hey everybody, Russ Manxon here. Welcome to the Namra podcast, here with my partner Sahil Patel. We're going to run through some topics on this episode. We're just getting back from Texas, so we're going to talk a little bit about why we were down there. Going to talk about 3 steps to reestablish your brand in 2024. Going to do a little bit of a personal take or our take on the TikTok ordeal. We're going to talk about how some of the platforms are starting to shift towards long-form content and how consistency remains the best strategy on social media. Let's get right into it. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Good to see you, man.
Too.
Always good to have a Friday afternoon pod with you.
That's right.
Okay. Whiskey down. Let's talk social media.
Let's do it. That's what we're here for, right?
That is what we're here for. What was the first topic?
All day,
Texas.
every day.
Yeah, so Texas. We just got back from Texas. We were down there last week, 2 weeks ago, shooting on Thursday and Friday. And then we got to enjoy San Antonio a little bit Friday night and Saturday. We were down there with a high-end motorized shades company. Shades, like, for your home.
Yeah,
I said shades
blinds.
one time, and they were like, sunglasses? And I was like, no. Shades in your house. And blinds. Yeah, exactly. So really cool shoot and great opportunity that was brought to us by the Rhode Island franchise of this business. That eventually led to us working with the corporate office in Texas. So really great to see those dots connect for us. We're grateful for the opportunity, and it was a fun trip. We always love to travel for videos.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just like very exciting to be down there. And I think what made it really fun is a lot of the work that we do. And this project specifically was video related. It was video content related. And what made the trip fun was a bulk of the video production planning usually happens ahead of the trip. So, you're able to get there. You're able to just follow the plan that you've already come up with. Follow like the storyboards, get all the shots. You already have like the sheets that you just need to like checklist. Everything's prepared, right? There's always last minute changes and pivots that you have to do based on weather, lighting, things like that. But because it was like a video specific one, it was very planned out. We enjoyed travel. Well, traveled together, same flight, everything. So yeah, like just having that travel together, it was very fun. And yeah, we got there, we enjoyed it was actually the first time for all of us that we were in San Antonio or Texas, period.
Yeah,
I think,
my
right?
first
It was
time in Texas,
first time in Texas. Yeah, I would say it was like my first time in Texas as well. Like because I have only been to Houston for it was like a 2-day wedding, so I never like explored Texas. Yeah. So yeah, like first time for all, and yeah, it was great to be in a new city. And when you're out of the shoot in the evening time, just to explore the new city.
Yeah, absolutely. The river walk in San Antonio is super cool. If you guys are ever down there, definitely check it out. Well worth the trip, worth the walk.
For sure. Yeah, just to talk a little bit more about the shoot, that was fun as well. I mean, it's I know I can't emphasize enough, like, because we were already kind of prepared with the shot list, like we were just kind of having fun doing the shots and getting the takes again. But just the type of shoot that it was, mixed in with B-roll, with interview, with instructions too. So we were constantly just doing something. Like every hour it was something else, like a new setup, new spot. So yeah, it was. Well,
we organized the footage this week, and it looks like there was a total of 39 videos that we shot in a total of 12 shooting hours. So 8 hours Thursday, 4 or 5 hours on Friday, wrapped up 39 videos. So that was a combination of individual product promos, like each one of the products offered on their website. They needed B-roll to display them on the site. So just up, downs, left, rights of the shades and the blinds. We rotated through a ton of those, and then we did, like you said, instructional videos, like how to use your remote and how to make adjustments on the shade and how to like reset it if the motor's not working right. Like all these videos that are going to live on their website and on their YouTube channel. We knocked a ton of those out. And shout out to the clients, because you have to really, you really have to have some mental stamina to get through days like that when you're the star of those videos. So to knock out 30 plus videos in a couple days is tough for a non-actor.
For sure. Yeah, one of my favorite moments was when we were backing up the footage and when you were unloading like all of the content from the cameras. I think just this was a 2-day project, but just from the first day alone, what was it like with all the raw files and stuff? It was like 500 gigs or something.
Mm-hmm. The total shoot was like 360. So day one was 180.
That's crazy.
At least, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So we shot a lot of footage.
Yep.
So
yep, lots of fun. But we, like you said, it's easier and easier for us every time we do big shoots like this, because our pre-production process is so dialed in at this point.
For sure.
That it takes a lot of stress off of our plates. By the time we get down there and cameras start rolling, we already know the plan pretty much minute by minute, and with some pivots here and there, which we've always been good at. So that comes naturally to us.
Yeah, that's one of like the
really
key.
run smoothly now.
Yeah, that's one of the key elements of our process. Like if you've never shot like a video with us before, whenever we shoot video, we always have that pre-production call, right, where we're kind of outlining the overall goal of the shoot. And these are not long. It can be from like 15 to 30 minutes most of the time, where we just get everyone together from our producer to the content team to with you, where we just get everyone together. We're discussing the goal of the shoot. We're outlining some foundational items from like location to different topics, whatnot. Everything's being planned out as part of like this pre-production call. So that way we're never going to the shoot and figuring it out as it goes. Like everything is just fun. It's seamless. A lot of clients describe it as like comfortable, because like a bunch of the planning and stuff, whether they need like scripting, some clients are more comfortable with the teleprompter. Some are better off the cuff. But all of that has been planned out to kind of, maintain your authenticity. So when they're shooting, they're very comfortable and having fun. And that's a really important piece of our video production process.
For sure. That comes naturally to us over time, as we didn't do that for a long time. And over time, as we grew, we realized how important the pre-production process was.
Yeah,
but we cut our teeth on being able to walk into a business with our cameras and not have a plan, and really figure out how to maximize all the footage, work with the customer, and make them feel comfortable.
Russ is being too kind. That idea really originated from us showing up to shoots and clients saying, "Whoa, what are we talking about today?"
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
We need to have pre-production calls. It's
Yep. We've come a long way.
Lot of times.
We've come a long way.
A lot of times. Yep.
It's great, and now there's so much less stress on every shoot, and it definitely, the client sees the effect of that, because when we're less stressed out, they're less stressed out. And we keep things running smoothly. I feel like we're good on the Texas recap.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Let's go into 3 steps to reestablish your brand in 2024. For those of you out there who are feeling like your brand is stale, you feel like your team needs a revamp or like a re-motivation phase, where you just dial in your messaging and revamp the entire brand and the path that you guys are on. We're going to give you 3 easy steps that you could realistically do in a day, but we recommend you kind of take your time with your team and let the ideas sizzle for a while. But we'll walk you through those 3 steps now.
Yeah, and why I really wanted to do this topic was it's actually more common than not, where you do ask someone like, what is like your core marketing message, or what is that one go-to message that you really want to push out there to your audience? Like, and again, going back to content shoots, like this is a question that comes up, and we've noticed that like a lot of times folks do know what their brand identity is, like their service. They have like a good idea of like their competitive edge, what makes them different from competitors. But when the question of like what is like why do you get up in the morning? like comes up, there's a lot of like pause, right? Wait, like I've never really thought about that. So really, like what I just wanted to do was just go down like 3 easy, just quick steps, nothing too intensive, but just think about these things, and it will help you like realign your core message. So that way, everything else that you do afterwards, whether it's creating content off of that or even building a new elevator pitch or whatnot, it becomes a little bit easier, and you're not going to stutter, right? So the first way to do that is define your why. Now, you hear this all the time, like, what's your why? What's your why? But like, how do you exactly define your why? How I would start is, one, like, just start with a statement about what you do. Like, I provide, this service, or I am selling this product. Now, once you have that, once you have like your product or service statement, you need to answer, why is that important to you? Like, why is it that you do what you do? Right? Like, why does that service, like, why did you start this business? Was it for a pain point? Like, is there like a personal story behind it? Just answer just very quickly, like, why is it important? So you have your product or service statement, like, this is what I provide, but like, this is also why I provide it. Like, this is why it's important to me. Now, here's the exercise. You need to answer that second question, why is it important to you, at least 4 to 5 more times. And what that's going to force you to do is dig deeper. Dig deeper to really finding out the root of like what makes you get up in the morning and chase this business, right? And you'll notice, like, once you've kind of answered it a third time, like you're really going to struggle. Like, you're really going to test yourself. Like, hey, like, like, why is this important to me? Like, why is this important to me? A lot of people, like, you can always name like one pain point or some customer challenge or like why you started the business. That's different. That's a bottleneck. That's a pain point on the client facing end. But like, what is your brand about? Why is it important to you? That's the part that a lot of people haven't thought about, and that's why there's a pause when you ask them, well, why did you get into this business? Or like, what's your story? So yeah, again, product or service statement, why is that important to you? And then answer that like at least 5 more times, like build upon that. And then what you're going to end up with is almost like a paragraph of, or almost like a snippet where it's like, that's like your pitch almost. Like, this is why, like, I do what it is that I do. So that's how you define your why, right? Once you have your why, then what you want to do is just simplify that why into a few words. Like, take your answers, like those 5 answers that you just came up with to the same question, simplify it into a few words, right? Like, think of any famous brand, like Apple has Think Different, right? Like Nike has Just Do It. Even though it's such few words, it highlights such a bigger message, right? So yeah, simplify it into a few words. Like, that's a perfect example. I don't need to say more on that. Just, yeah, like think different, or just do it. Like make your own slogan, something that resonates with your why. So now you have your why, and now you also have like this slogan for your company, which is going to help align your why with like the central message. So like, regardless of if you're going to create another product line or expand services or even choose a new location, hiring, core values, whatever it is that comes down to brand functions, you can always go back to this slogan or your why. And it's going to help, it's going to make it that much easier. The reason why a lot of people like stutter on this question or have a pause is because they don't have these 2 things identified. Like, if you don't even know why it is, like why are you in this business, for yourself? Like, forget clients, forget customers, like all of that. Like, what made you start in the first? Like, if you don't even have that why, like that's, you're never going to be able to build these other things. People think this is like some marketing textbook slang where it's like, hey, what's your why? But it's like, how many of you have actually taken the time to think about this? So yeah, do these first 2 steps. Like, again, define your why. Second step, simplify it into a few words. And the last thing I would recommend is, once you have these first 2 things down, take the time to actually make the proper changes to your brand, like change up your socials, like update your brand. And the reason for that is you need to be able to resonate this message with your staff, with your clients now, anyone who's going to see your brand, right? This is, again, like, why do so many brands have their slogan as their cover photo, right? It's you need to be able to resonate it. It's because now you have like a strong brand identity. You do know what you stand for, why you stand for it. So now you do need to voice that, because a lot of folks have a phenomenal story, but their brand is like very outdated, or they haven't really changed anything, right? Their website's like very old. It has none of their newer ideas or interpretations. So yeah, take the time to update all your social profiles, like update that about us cover, like on your Google, everything, like what your brand stands for. So now you're portraying your why to like everybody, not only people that are internal to your organization, but also like anyone who's going to interact with your brand. They're going to see that. And if you do these three things, like it's going to help you establish that core message, or at least make it a little bit easier to establish while you work on it. So now you have like a foundational ground. And yeah, it's important. Like it's like having this is like key to building foundational elements, whether it's content, whether it's adding more products, services, like you do need this. Mm-hmm. So that's why I just wanted to, go through that real quick.
Yep. No, I think it's great. And the refresh on motivation there is huge. And I think there's a lot of people who need that right now. Social media especially is a grind. And we've been talking about that a lot lately, where you have to get on board with like your own mission. Because if you're not fully on board with your mission and the message you're trying to communicate, and passionate enough to keep talking to nobody for a while and really like slam the consistency side of social media, you won't get to the point where you're getting thousands of views on every video, because getting through that hard time, being consistent while things are slow, is so important. And that's how you grow. So a re-establishing of motivation within your team, a realignment of who we are, what we do, I think is super valuable. And it's something that everybody, like in the spring, if you're feeling stale, there's nothing wrong with having the team sit down and talk about, like, let's just talk about it. Who are we? What do we do? Why do we do it? And how are we going to get this message out there?
Yeah. And it makes a difference, right? It's, again, a lot of these feel like just exercises from like this, marketing 101 class, or, like what are the 4 P's of marketing, right?
Yeah, but there's so many people missing the fundamentals.
Yeah, well, this is where it gets you, right? You ever see those folks that are so attached to their brand that like whenever you ask them a question, they know an answer. And I don't mean just like the bullshitters out there or like the other quote unquote marketers that just like have this like pre-typed up statement that's like the same thing for that. I don't mean those folks. I mean like the folks that like when they're part of like a podcast or an interview or something, like regardless of what trick question or something, like they know why they're doing that business. Like that person has a why. Right. And you can very easily tell folks that are just like, professional business people and bullshitters, because like they'll always be able to say something, but it'll never make sense. Right? Because they don't have a why. They're just like good business people. Maybe that's just, again, like
they're good at the
it's
script.
Okay to be a good business person. Like you can have your elevator pitches. You can have, Chat GPT write you some automated, right? Some automated pitch that you use for everything. That's fine. But it's, that human element of why do you personally,
like really speaking from the heart, people can feel it.
You can feel it. And the thing is when times matter, you're always going to get stuck if you don't have that. Because at the end of the day, like how can you have core values without a why? Like what is your core? There is no core if there's nothing, right? So take the time. I mean, this is again, it takes time to do, but like these are just 3 quick steps that you can do to at least think about your own core, established marketing message. Like if you haven't taken the time to do that, a lot of folks won't admit it, but they know when they get stumped. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's So do yourself a favor, like think about it.
to formally
It's fine
sit
if
down
you
with your
didn't do it
team.
before. I mean, anyone can, you can just launch a business, but like if you're going to take it seriously, if you're going to, hire, you're going to retain, do all of these things, you need to know for yourself what your overall message is so you can build those core elements like core values, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it is basic, but it's super important, and we're here to educate and motivate. So that's a motivational side there.
For sure.
Let's talk TikTok. TikTok takes.
Cool. I'm out of whiskey. Damn it.
That's too bad. We need some whiskey for this conversation.
I'm good.
No, we'll keep it brief. Basically, who knows what's going to happen with TikTok, right?
Yep.
We can't see the future. Who knows what will happen? But we wanted to reiterate, we've been talking about this for years, why it's important to diversify your efforts onto many different platforms, because this could happen to any of the apps. TikTok, sure, maybe more likely because of its not local ties. But could happen to X, or it could happen to Facebook, could happen to X, could happen to Instagram at any time, right? And so if all of your eggs are in one basket and you're only posting on one platform, like if you're just a LinkedIn person and you're neglecting Instagram or Facebook when it comes to connecting with other professionals, you never know what will happen with these platforms. So diversifying your efforts is important.
Yeah, I like to look at it two ways, right? Like there's two main points to drive home here. One is I wouldn't just look at headlines. Headlines are they're just that. Like they have no substance. It's just a headline. Clicks to drive interest in you learning more about it, or it's, you hear about these things like, oh, TikTok might get banned. It's like there is a lot of things that must happen for like a move like that to happen. This isn't like, someone can just be like, oh, TikTok's getting banned, and then like the next day it's going to be gone. Like there has to be so many hurdles that like a move like that has to clear, right? And we won't get into all of that, like everything from like, politics to the business hurdles to the oversight to, it being actually like passed in legislation. There's so much that goes into it that many of these things can take years sometimes. So yeah, one, like just know there might be a proposed bill. There might be a proposed ban, but it's like that. Like, don't immediately think, oh my God, like I'm only on TikTok. Like, oh shit, like okay, like my business, like I'm going out of business. I must sell my business or da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like, no, like it takes, like, again, this can just be diffused within a week. A lot of it is just, you don't know if it's just for like, political, all of this. Like, again, won't get into it, but yeah, number one, it's just a headline. All right,
Yep.
Relax. But number two goes back to your point. Like as with anything in business or investment related, diversifying is important, especially in the world of digital marketing. There's so many different avenues. These platforms are constantly evolving. Even if no platform gets banned, one platform might be good for you one day, right? Whereas next year, another platform might have completely pivoted its like operations and how they do things, and maybe now that platform is better for you, right? And now let's say you crush it on that platform. Maybe 4 years from now, that platform might have merged with someone, or they might have been sold, they might not exist, so you might have to trace another strategy. So going back to Russ's point, you should be focused on diversifying as much as possible, not diversifying excessively to the point that you lose like your authentic touch, where you lose thinking about like, okay, where are you most, like where are you and your brand the best fit? Because we do see that happening, right? Where people excessively diversify, where there's platforms that they just should not be on, just because it's not true to their authentic nature, and then they try to do well on it, and then they fail, so they blame that platform, but it's really just a bad business decision. Yeah, so don't. And then they lose consistency. Then
the
they
creativity
stop posting.
Shouldn't suffer because you're diversifying.
Yeah, they stop posting on one, and then like don't stretch yourself too thin. Don't lose your authentic touch. Don't excessively diversify just for the sake of diversifying. But what we're just trying to drive home here is you should think about different avenues and traction channels that you can leverage your brand into. So that way, if a massive change like this does happen, you're ready for it. You're not going to be one of those folks that are like, oh, I wish I would have thought about this. It's like, no, just think about it. Always be thinking about leveraging into other traction channels, and you'll be prepared for it. Mm-hmm. And just as a reminder, this TikTok, man, this thing came up a few years ago too, a couple years ago, if you remember.
Well, right when it came out.
I think the story back then was Microsoft was going to buy it, right? Mm-hmm. Like TikTok was going to get banned, and then Microsoft was going to buy it to save them from getting banned, so then they can operate in America under Microsoft.
Yeah,
that fell apart. So again, like you hear about these things, and it's it's. It takes years. It takes years to fix a pothole. Yeah, so it's
you're not wrong.
Especially, or at least where we are. So something like that major. Just understand it takes time. Like even if a ban was announced, like it takes time to actually like implement it and execute on it.
Yeah,
and by the time it's implemented and executed, it might have already been reversed.
Right.
Some company might have bought it. Now it's underneath them. Now it's like, it's called Tic Tac. It's the same thing, just rebranded. So,
that's good. So general advice is don't panic, but also think ahead. Try to, hedge your bets.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. What else we got? Okay. Opposite of TikTok content. TikTok's known for short form stuff and kind of like Vine style content. Mm-hmm. But now we're starting to see platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube obviously has already been on the long form content train. But starting to see platforms like Instagram and Facebook pick up on the desire for more longer form content, which is great to see because that's something that we specialize in, is shooting like those longer, like 5-minute walkthrough videos with clients, or telling more of a story. And so it's great to see that a lot of business pages are starting to perform well with those longer form videos. It doesn't have to just be like 10 to 30 seconds anymore. You can get away with a 3-minute talking head video if you cover the topic properly and you put the right graphics and editing in there. But generally speaking, it seems like attention spans are starting to increase a little bit, and the desire for a more long-winded explanation of things is starting to increase. Like people are willing to let a sentence breathe finally, instead of just having everything be like a 15-second supercut. They kind of want to hear the whole message now, which is a great shift, I think, for the content world.
Definitely. Yeah, I think there's different things happening around that, right? I think that move is more so driven from company, just bottom lines, rather than like, authentic content and what creators are making. One, because like, okay, if you're really pushing creators to create like 4-second videos, then it's like there's not enough room to roll out a bunch of ads within that.
Fair.
Right. Yeah. So it's
a business model move.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is definitely influenced by the business model itself. And also a lot of folks, they're not going to watch a 5-second ad for like a quick 4-second reel.
Right.
Right. Like,
but they'll watch a 5-second.
Exactly. So if it's like a 3-minute, 5-minute value driven video, then it gives the platform the ability to have more ads throughout that, and also a beginning ad that you can skip through. Like for example, take YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it's like a 10-minute video, then they can put an ad up front and then have you skip it in 5 seconds. But if the short or the video itself is like very short form,
then you just scroll right
past
it.
It's gonna, and the thing is other platforms will battle on that. Because if they know, like, hey, this platform's putting ads even for like short form, we won't do that, but we'll make our money elsewhere. So it just creates like this competitive nature. So I do feel like a lot of it is driven that way. But yeah, it is cool to see, because like we've always said, right, like the type of content that resonates best with your audience is going to perform the best for you, right? If you are like a DIY like contractor, for example, giving tips on like DIY projects and stuff, long form videos might be perfect for you because folks are going to absorb that whole video. Like they want to watch a long video, see how like the ins and outs of how like a project is completed, make sure you answer all of their questions, and they're going to go through your whole video if it's value based. We always stress value, right? Because there are certain strategies where short form is perfect for. There are certain strategies where long form is perfect for. But what is your value? Like if you're just saying 30 minutes worth of shit,
nonsense,
yeah, it's like, hey man, short form might be better for you because you're just rambling on.
Right.
Like it's useless what you're doing. But if you're providing value all the way through, then long form is good for you. So we've always stressed, forget about the time limits. Each platform is different. Also, each platform, what you do on that platform and the medium you're using. For example, Instagram, there's a huge difference what you're using stories for versus what you're using a long-form publication for. Stories are quick. Maybe they should be kind of authentic, off the cuff, like you're just documenting your day. Whereas like if you're publishing an actual video that's going to live like on your feed that you're going to pin, that's like value driven, maybe that should be long form, right? So just stress the value piece, like make sure you're delivering value regardless of that video content. But yeah, it's cool to see platforms making this slowly, or at least testing out these pivots toward long form, because at least in my personal opinion, what happened was there was just way too much condensation happening with like these 3-second, 4-second shorts, whereas everything became just traffic driven. Because you can't, something that you're really trying to like stress the value for, it's difficult to do. So everything, if you notice ads and everything became link driven. Like here's a 4-second clip, or here's an ad for you to buy this course or buy this product,
and like everything was snappy.
Yeah, so everyone's attention spans just got lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. So what these platforms realized was, and it's almost like a cycle, right? It's kind of like markets almost, where it started out with long form, then everyone went towards the short form kind of vision. So like everyone kept doing short form, then they kind of hit a trough, so now they're trying to chase long form again. And then eventually what will happen is there will be too much long form, too many ads, and then one platform will come out where we'll, hey, no more, cut this out, back to short form. So it is cyclical. I mean, these changes will always happen. New functionalities will come out on the app. But yeah, just don't forget to add value, regardless of if you're making short form for stories, YouTube shorts, TikTok, or you're making long form for playlist, training modules, whatever it may be. Just add value. Make sure your words have importance. Like, don't just talk for the sake of talking. No one likes small talk, and no one definitely likes small talk in the world of digital marketing, because
Get to the point.
Yeah, people have shit to do, man. It's like, if you are someone new that I discovered that like I had interest in, like potentially like following or subscribing to, because you're giving me knowledge, and then you released a video where like you could have said that message in like 10 seconds, and it was like a 5-minute video, like I'm done. I'm done. Like, at least that's like that's me. You're right. And so the same is like opposite. Like, if like you can't make a 4-second video on how to fix a car engine.
Right.
Like, no, like that requires like, man, like maybe a multiple hour video where it's like, hey, like what exactly is going on? So, drive value. Yeah.
Everything's value based. You can get away with longer
and
videos
be authentic
if it's all valuable.
Be authentic and drive value.
And and consistency remains the best strategy. I think we can wrap it up there. That's what we always say. You should be doing long form and short form all the time consistently. That's the best advice. The problem is, how much bandwidth do you have to pull that off? That's what we're here to help you with, here to help you plan. But that's what it's all about. Don't give up, people.
That's right.
Growth is coming. Social media is still an amazing way to grow your business, and people are exploding on social media every day. I just watched a motivational to me, I almost teared up watching this Bob Does Sports montage of this guy. I don't know if you know the account. It's like a golf account, Bob Does Sports. The guy on Instagram, Brilliantly Dumb. he does he started off doing like stupid YouTube videos and then became like, started going to PGA Tour events and started getting famous for making like funny commentary at PGA Tour events, like chirping the players and stuff. And now he has like this whole vlog channel and just like blew up. And like he just posted like looking 10-year back like montage of like where it all started. And like just it's always in like their backyards. Like all these influencers I follow, like the golf YouTube influencers, like they were kids in their backyards when they were 15 with their friends, and now they're 30 and they have the biggest YouTube channels known to man. Like they're doing bigger numbers than the professional golf tournaments themselves on YouTube. Yep. And it's just very cool to see. Like there's so much potential out there if you actually go after your vision, if you actually, like we said in the beginning, like set your statement, remember your why, push that narrative out there as hard as you can with passion. That's why the why matters so much.
And I think another key thing you mentioned is 10 years, right?
10 years, yeah. It takes time to build that empire.
Unless you're like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a anomaly, right? Where it was like an overnight,
or like
thing.
A crazy product, like a like a Shark Tank product that like goes viral on TikTok. Those are all outliers. But for like a good, honest, service-based business like that, like you're a local business, you're trying to slowly grow regional, national. That takes time. That's a 5, 10, 15. I mean, realistically, that's like a 40, 50 year brand building process. Like a lot of these companies that have like true huge brands, like your State Farms and like whatever, all those companies, they're like 100 years old. Yep. And it's all built on that, like ongoing trust. So you have to start somewhere, but be patient, stay motivated, keep going. And thanks for listening to the Namra podcast.